Uh, Good day, everyone. This is me, your investment Bestmen. I put it that way. It's a opinionated way that I have my opinions and also here and there, right? So we talk about opinionated stuff. I talk about what's a little bit going on in my opinion. Is it fair? Is it right? And to me, certain things, in my opinion, if certain things are not fair, right? Because in the opinion world, for me, he gets immunity. Not everyone gets immunity. So that's one, not fair. So that's my opinion. Two, um, when I hear a little bit in the YouTube section, the news or whatever news, and you keep saying fake news and ABC is fake, CNN is a fake news, and all that. I don't think if it's a fake news, if it's a fake news, then try to answer the questions that are given to you. Just don't hide it. Like that's my opinion. So I'm gonna tell you what I say, but before anything I start, I'm gonna say this, and I'll say this again because um, this is letting you guys know what I say. And there's two things. Good day, everyone. My name is Vesman. How are you doing? Let's get right to it. I'm going to say welcome to Vesman's Opinionated. I will have certain things that are my opinions and how I feel in certain ways. I am not here to judge, but this is only opinion. And this is what also part of the rules I say, right? Here are some rules that I'm going to say. Sometimes I can use profanity and I will say almost anything I like. I am not perfect. I am not a king. I do not have a queen. I am me that like to be me. I will someday get myself a queen. I will be her king. But that kind of title is different to me. And again, when I'm going to repeat, when I say that, different title for me, there's no king here. There's no queen here. We work together as a team. But some teams don't work together. There's some Republicans, and especially those are not Republicans, and then the conservative Republicans. I want to say this. So here goes. What's I'm gonna put it this way. What is the difference of Mac, right? And Republicans. Um, so let's see. Let's put it this way. So Magna Republicans are a faction with the modern Republicans Party that distances themselves from the traditional Republicans through their intense loyalty to the person, right? That's my opinion to the person. I'm going to say person. So, driven to intense devotion to the person, with many believing in 2020 election was stolen, the support often overweighs loyalty to the institutional party than the traditional one, historically aligned with the institutional Republican Party, its platform, and long-standing principles. Many are never that person or remain secondable of the former one. Let's see. Foreign policy favor for American first, often isolation approach, fearing intentional alliance and agreements with skepticism amplify strong border enforcement and restriction on immigration. Additional supported a strong global presence, international alliance like NATO and intervention foreign policy. As the traditional one, economic leans toward economic nationalism and protectionism, including tariffs to punish trading partners like China, targets economic anxiety among working class voters. Additionally, The traditional one favored free trade agreements, deregulation, and lower corporate tax. So these are definitions and other stuff here. So I, in my opinion, to me, that I say something the last time that if no one stands up or something, will go to a world of an apocalypse. That is my opinion. There will be a world of a dictatorship. That is my opinion. People that are scared and to a bully because he is a bully, to my opinion, he wants power. And speaking of power, I have something that's very interesting. I made it some kind of a poem last night, or I said something when I come around, I'll do a poem. And this is a poem. You may not like it, or you may not like what I say or something. You do not need to comment on this here. You just need to listen, or you don't want to listen. You can go on your merry way and disappear that you believe in. But my opinion is my opinion. And the thing is about being opinionated, it's opinion to that. So before anything, we start with this poem. What is an opinion? What is opinion? What is the full meaning of an opinion? If everybody will answer to that question, let's give it. And when I say opinion, in my opinion, this is true, right? But there's a here that has different ways of opinion. Um, I saw the part of my opinion holding that congresswoman, the 51-year-old, because you're more about the maps and not saving the people in Texas. You want the maps to go first. Everything else was not for the Texans of your people. Everything else was for yourself, my opinion. Everything else was being greed for you, my opinion. And this is funny because when I say something about Christians, Catholics, or something, I'm kind of, people might say, don't say spiritual, but I'm spiritual because one thing with churches and stuff, I have a different opinion about churches. Okay. And then there's a certain things that I have an opinion about. I'm going to say we're not perfect about it. We may not agree to certain things about it. I, for me, believe in LGBTQ, my opinion. I believe in gays and lesbians and transgenders to have a heart. They have feelings, and I believe in that. You may not like what they do, but the question is, are you going to go to their door and say, what are you doing, when there's something is none of your damn business? You can't do that. First, first you need like permission, right? That's one. Remember when I say something about words that I shouldn't say, but I say some profanity words, and I said that, and I said something. If those three people apologize down the road, I'll apologize to the worst. I said I'm not gonna go first and apologize this time. They gotta apologize to the whole world. They gotta realize something, that sometimes there's always a sugar and spice, but I think you're being more spice than sugar when you're not showing the people of the Texas, right? Even that I'm from New York. I'm from New York. I believe what I believe, in my opinion. Everything else is unique. So here it goes. An opinion What is an opinion? That's my option. What is an opinion? An opinion is a belief or judgment that falls short of absolute conviction, certainty, or positive knowledge. In its conclusion that certain facts, ideas, etc., are probably true or likely to prove or so are political opinions. An opinion about art, in my opinion, this is true. So, am I talking political sense? Yes. I'm not gonna talk much about political. I just want an idea like why they do these maps in the middle of the year when the census is not even there to start yet, and you're doing the middle of the year, and you want these 5 seats. And I kind of say like Supreme Court justice has their hands full, even though they got their hands tied, they got their hands full because they could overturn it, and they gotta say, hey, you can't have these too much things. You're going overboard here. Even that you're a president or something, you need to cut it down. But some of these, to me, are not. I just, I have this feeling that he's holding something against them and they don't want to stand up. That's my opinion. That's my funny feeling, in my opinion. Okay, so here goes this poem, and it should be for to some Magna Republicans to understand if they got hearings, and to the additional one, traditional Republicans and Democrats and Independents. I hope they hear it too. But this is what I'll say in my opinion, and this is a poem like what is together? Together. What is together? Together is to stand up, right? It could be different titles of what is together. I might have to say that if there's a poem about what is together, I gotta see because there's different poems everybody would do, right? Poems, what is together, poems. Okay, so there are best poems put together. There is connection to these poems, but I kind of say what is together. Okay, together we stand up. What is right? What is right? Together we stand up. What is right? Together is to show unity. Together, more heart and love. What is together? Unity is together. Unity is love, and unity is heart. Power is not unity. Power is not love. Power is being used. Power is being abused. As power is being abused, as unity is strong, the power will lose. What is together? Together we stand up what is right. Together is to show unity. Together more heart and love. I'll repeat this again because I said it twice, but I'll repeat it again a little bit in my opinion. And I hope you understand what I meant in this moment of time and life. And like I said, you do not need to comment on here and when I put it on this little video thing here. You do not need to comment. You can listen if you like, and you could go on your merry way. If you do not want to listen, you can listen for a little bit, and you may not listen for a little bit. If you want to hear what you like to hear and what I say in this part, you just like what I said. But you do not need to comment on it because I'm just saying my opinion, how I feel, and it's kind of different in the aspect of love. Okay. So I said this poem and I wrote this last night. And I wrote it maybe like before I went to bed and sleep. And I woke up early, like 5:20 to 5:30, because I'm practicing my time because I have to go back somewhere again next week. So in this time here, I just want to know if you like the poem. If not, Like I said, you do not need to comment, but if you do like the poem, just smile if you want to do that comment. But other than that, you don't need to comment as well. But this is what I say and how I feel. And to me, if no one stands up to this person, there's always someone that's going to be a yellow streak. And for now, for me, he has a yellow streak on the back because I'm going to say also there's that the Paramount that merged with CBS, Paramount Global, I'll be seeing on and off, but what I see all the shows, Dance kind of want to take Stephen Colbert out of the way because he doesn't like how he does his um thing. But isn't that part of freedom of speech, right? And I think we had that moment of time. We keep saying that freedom of speech, but he doesn't like the part with the news or mockery of him. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of the press. Let's see. There's freedom. Freedom of the press is the right of media to operate without government censorship or control that includes the freedom to publish and access information and to protect source. While the U.S. First Amendment protects this freedom, it does not permit journalists to violate general applicable law or grant them access to information that public doesn't have. The concept. So, what do you mean the public that doesn't have? He has it, in my opinion, but the public doesn't have. The concept is vital functioning democracy allowing this news opinions, but also has limits such as punishment for libel, invasion of privacy. Okay, so maybe he did that, but then is he doing the same thing to our privacy? And that's the freedom of the press, the one that wants the power. Is he taking our privacy and wants to know what we're doing without asking our permission? That should be the limited invasion of privacy too. Even that he's government for now, or sort of like he wants to do, my opinion. Okay. But if the right media operate without government censorship or control in inclusion to freedom. Let's see what else. There's another I want to say right to petition, right? Let's see. Right to petition the government. Let's see. The right to petition the government is a fundamental right guaranteed by the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution that allows individuals and groups to ask the government to take or not take specific action, address grievance or purpose change in laws or policies. The right to so that means you just ignored your people in Texas. You didn't want to listen to their grievance. You did not address to their grievance. You did not hear. You just care about the maps. That's my opinion. You just care about the maps. You care about the 5 seats. You care about the maps. The right to protect citizens' ability to communicate their concerns and seek remedy for problems without government interference. It can be accessed by writing elected officials, submitting formal requests to administrative agency, participate in a public forum, or engaging in legal action throughout the court system. But so far, the court is basically the Supreme Court is not doing much because he has them by the ear. That's my opinion. Okay. I'm gonna go back to this poem and I'm gonna make it right because I said it twice in this one with the same words. What is together? Together we stand up. What is right? Together is to show unity. Together more heart and love. What is together? Unity is together. Unity is love. And unity is heart. Power is not unity. Power is not love. Power is being abused. As power is being abused, as unity is strong, the power will lose. What is together? Together we stand up what is right. Together is to show unity, together more heart and love. And so far, the more heart and love is those that are joining and standing up together, and those that are showing heart and love to the maps from their side of unity, to me is a yellow back. And to those that are standing up and fighting for the people, in my opinion, are standing up more heart and love. And the thing is, how can you do it? How can we get it through? How can we get to our heads? And this is the part. Um, there's a couple of things that I'll say before I leave. This is opinionated. This is the freedom of speech. You may not like what I say or hear. You just don't need to hear what I say. Just don't click on me if you don't want to hear it. But you could listen a little bit, maybe, and say, or that. But maybe he does got a point. Maybe he has his opinion in a way that he's fighting for a place that he believes in his heart. I'm going to say this, and this is part for the government and and the Medicaid and Medicare and all this other stuff. And I want your heart to understand. My mom passed away last year, 10 months ago. She spoke her mind and she spoke this. When people work for certain things and people try to work for certain things, and I want to say this, my mom was a survivor of stage 2 breast cancer. I became her hero 2 years ago. She's been to plays around back and forth. She was losing her memory. She was getting her dementia, the beginning of dementia, and all that, and back in the hospital. And the thing is, I miss Christmas 2 times already with her. To spend time Christmas with my mom. Nursing home, back in the hospital, back to the nursing home, back home in July of last year, back in the hospital, and then back home, and then went to hospice. He passed away 10 months ago, on October 20th, 2024. Some of my help, in my opinion, I I would say thank you to certain governments about it, but I didn't agree to certain things about that I couldn't keep mom home and have the home attendants come 24 hours with a different home attendant to take care of her when I could try to go to work. My family that live in Seattle, I'm glad they helped me in certain ways. But the thing that hurt me the most, they didn't fly down here and spend time and do one option to be. They helped me with certain things. I thankful for that. But they should have one of them should have come and see their older sister. No one came down for that. And I know they want me to visit there in Seattle, but my thing is I want to travel somewhere that I would love to go, but I need to get this enhanced ID to travel. I need to get a passport. I got my regular state ID. And how can I do that when the fundings are cutting through? My opinion. How can I save when I have to pay rent almost $1,000 when the fundings are cutting through? How can we survive food and all that when the fundings are cutting through? I see homeless people here. I used to be homeless, and I hope someday in your heads that the Magna Republicans will realize how stupid they were, maybe in my opinion. But that's the traditional Republicans that has different views and different meanings and a different way about it to show the unity of different together. But no one shows unity here and stuff. Unity is strong and power is being abused, in my opinion, or being used for certain things. It's funny when this YouTube or TikTok person spoke about questions about something, and that other guy, Kirk, right? When he asks questions to that about it, why he goes boom. That's my opinion. Why boom? My opinion is here. If we go into this world of apocalypse, I'm gonna say apocalypse. And if you know what apocalypse mean, then we're in a world of we didn't stand up, we didn't do the job. Everybody is holding by that. I'm gonna say this before I leave. A king is power, right? But also a king does have a heart. That depends which king. There's two different types of kings. One is called the emperor. One is called king. Emperor, king, emperor, king. Apocalypse, dictator, for the people, for the people, for the people, for the people. So in this way, it's like almost a Robin Hood story. Whoever was the king over there in this Robin Hood story that steals from the poor, but when Robin Hood comes and saves, he's for the people, steals from the rich, it's a vice versa. I think in an opinionated way that I say again, no one should be above the law. No one should be above the law in an opinion way. That's my opinion. And then I'll talk about this person next time, or semi person, because when this person was asking a question like about the kids, the some kind of the library thing and stuff, but you cannot answer the question. You just like, I can't answer. I don't have the idea or something. But that's why she say that in her mind, he just wants to be on the mic, and he just couldn't answer a woman's question. Even that he has women behind him there, but to me, he doesn't have a woman's answer to answer the woman's question. But I bet you he'll answer a man's question. That's my opinion. Okay, guys, I am going to do this. You are gonna be an amazing way. I hope this opinion. I hope you get to this poem in the head of again, and I'll repeat that poem another time again. I will make another poem as well, and I hope you love what I have, that opinionated stuff. Like I said, you do not need to comment here. You just listen, and if you do not want to listen, you could go on your merry way and disappear to music if you like to listen. But everything else, I'll see you next time. And thanks for hearing me about opinionated, about what I think it is. Could be true or not. And if you think I'm fake, then don't watch me. If you think I'm real, enjoy. Okay? Enjoy your day and have a good week. Ciao, everybody.